Hi guys, so it's just a quick update really on where we're at with bait. I wanted this year to make sure that I'd got some nice fish meal baits. It's something that I've not really been bothered about in past fish meal baits. But I've seen over the past few years just how much pulling power a fish meal bait can have, you know what I mean? And I do think that a fish would much rather eat a natural bait like crayfish or like shrimp or something like that over a fruit bait. Now, over years I fished fruit baits on canals underneath for bushes like elderberry and stuff like that, and I've absolutely really had it off big time fishing in that method. Fishing fruit baits underneath blackberry bushes when blackberries dropping off in, and no one will tell me no different. I've seen carp underneath blackberry bushes waiting, and when them blackberries fall off to eat them. It's quite simple. They're not daft. They know what's happening at certain times of the year, and they know that it's got natural sugars in. Them natural sugars are going to give them fat reserves. But the thing that I've kind of strayed away from is fish meal baits. Is because I never really used them much myself in my fishing. But I started to think over the past few years, perhaps I'm doing myself a misjustice in not doing them. And also, at the forefront of me thinking of that is one of the fish that I'm after. I've been after. I did a full year on a pit, and I had majority of the stock out, apart from one fish, and that fish is a fish I would dearly like to catch. Now it's the last couple of times it's been out on a krill, funny enough. So that started me thinking straight away, because I'm on there this year, and it's something. I wanted the krill bait to be a little bit special, a little bit different from sticky baits krill, a little bit different from any of the other krill baits out there. And I think I've achieved that in the krill bait I've got. It's a lot of thinking that this bait is not been tested. It has been tested. It's the base mix is the KBS base mix, and it's the base mix that is the full value really of this bait. The bloodworm and krill in it is just extra full value, but it's the attraction of that krill and bloodworm that it just adds to the base mix itself. So it's not like it's not a tried and tested bait. It's the base mix is tried and tested, and it is deadly. So all I've done to that is I've added a natural additive, as in pure bloodworm and as in pure krill. So that's where we're at with that one, and I'm really chuffed with how they've come out. I mean, these are the wafters that I've just rolled. They're a little bit over buoyant at the minute, but it's exactly how I like them. They're just a little bit over buoyant, so they could be chopped down a little bit to suit whatever rig I'm fishing. And I fish a different rig when I'm fishing wafters. I fish a different rig. Now the coating comes off them after a few seconds of being in lake, but it leaves a small pile of attraction just around the base, pretty much where your swivel is when you're fishing either an hinge rig or a Ronnie. So you've got a pile of attraction there, and it gets under leaves and like I've said before in a lot of my other threads, and it's leaving smelling there all the time. Now the feed baits are the same as these. These are wafters like I've just said, but I've also got pop-ups. But these, I can see these are just getting used by myself, to be honest with you. I don't want to get rid of them, I don't think. That's the krill. But then I wanted another fish meal bait to go with that at Whale's Breath and the KBS that I do, the krill, belacan and shrimp. Now, I couldn't get any crab meat when I went out the last time I went out. Don't forget, I ain't really been nowhere for going on near enough, I think it's about 9 days now with COVID. So it's once I can get out there, I'm going to try and get hold of some crab meat it's going to be tinned crab meat, because obviously that's got a kind of preservative in it as it is. It's pretty much, it's the brine that's keeping it a shelf life-ish, and I don't mind that anyway. I like a little bit of salt in it anyway, but it will be a salt. When I do add that, it will be a freezer bait 100%. At the minute it's crayfish and it's shrimp, but the crayfish, it's crayfish meat, there's no shell in there, and it's dried. The shrimp is dried shrimp, so it's quite possible that once this bait's air dried, it's more than likely be shelf life, and that's pretty much the way it's always gone with these baits. You air dry them right, and the shelf life, but it's getting sold as a freezer bait. Now this one's a little bit more subtle than these, but like I say, if I coated them in crayfish, the powder, then they would be. I would think they'd be a little bit more pungent than that, to be perfectly honest with you, because it really does the crayfish. Now the crayfish that I'm using, I will actually get that and show you. I'll just pause you a second. Right then, guys, so this is the actual crayfish that I'm using. It is this. It's really is nice as well. It's expensive. For 70 gram of it, it's expensive anyway, you know what I mean? But it is really nice stuff. I really do like it. It stinks, and it's made up solely of just crayfish meat. There's no shell in there. There's no it's just crayfish meat, and it really does smell. I'm actually going to try and source some crayfish myself, red signals, invasive species and all that. So I'm trying to source them because I could really do some. So that is the krill. Now that, if you wanted some of that, I can get you some. I've now got a supplier of that, but like I said, it's not cheap. It's not overly expensive, but it's not cheap. So these are the baits that we've got at the minute. These are crayfish and shrimp, like I said. And what I'm loving about them is the fact that there's no colouring in them whatsoever. All the colourings come from the bloodworm and the krill coating on them, and so there's no synthetic flavours or anything in them. It's all natural. It is all natural attraction that's in them, and it's the exact same with these crayfish and shrimp. Now they're a lovely bait, honestly, they really are. They've come out, it rolls really nice as well, so that's a bit of a bonus, to be honest with you. So these are going to be finding their way into that local gravel pit that I've just been on about, and to be honest with you, that lot's going in the minute I'm allowed to get a clear test. I'm going to have to do another clear test after that, the day after, and then if that one comes back clear, then I'm going to put all this out on the top of a gravel bar. I know where they like to be at this time of year, and they will definitely be there. Come early March, end of February, early March, they will be at top of that gravel bar, and then this is going to start pulling them there. But I will also be making a bit more of this I want a fair bit of crumb of it. I want a lot of crumb of this to get in there. Now the pit that I'm on about, it's got crayfish in there. I've seen them. The fish are getting to nice big sizes now, so there's no doubt they will have munched on crayfish at some point. So it's just another one to the range now, guys. So that's the free fish that we're doing is the crayfish and shrimp, which will soon be crayfish and crab. The shrimp's getting left to the KBS, if you understand. The KBS, krill, bella cow and shrimp. And then there's the bloodworm and krill, the whale's breath. So they're the free fish meals. Now the other ones they're still high food content baits, but the flavour in them, the actual smell in them is a synthetic flavour, and I'm trying my hardest to get away from synthetic flavours and colourings. I'd much rather have something out there that is natural. But saying that, I've had so much success on bits like banoffee and tutti frutti and pineapple. It's like the bloody pineapple this year. I will be definitely redoing bloody pineapple again because of the success I had done it last year on treating. I'd be stupid not to. It's just an absolutely deadly bit. It's just pineapple flavouring mixed with bloodworm, and it was just deadly. Last year it was deadly on there, and not only on there, and every place that people took it, and our fish it did really well. But it's just we've got quite a few bits now that I'm happy with, but there ain't going to be no more. That's it now. That's it for a while. It's going to be solely about these, and then hopefully in the next year or so I'll come out with something else. But I want to focus solely on these now at the minute because it's time now to get me fishing head on and start getting back into getting ready to get on them big pits and sit it out and wait for one of them chunks to come along. Now the actual can't be goodness, man. It's the actual pit down fishing. It's very deep. I think it's about 6 to 8 foot in middle. I think that's the farthest I've had a marker float. It's 6 to 8 foot. And that's the furthest that I've had a marker float out there. And it kind of does that in certain places. It's not messing about with this. It's that in certain places. Now it also it has a certain areas it'll drop off nice and slowly, and then it'll just drop down. But then you'll get a raised bar in there. Now that raised bar is absolutely perfect for that big common. It's come off it twice to me now. So it's the reason I always like to keep that a close secret. Well, it's not me keeping it a secret to be honest with you. It is. I'm not. I don't really like saying put a lead on there and you'll catch so and so fish. It's all about that's taking all the joy out of fishing. I've had people message me saying how many wraps to so and so, how many wraps to this, how many wraps to that, how much bait, how many pouchfuls. It's just boggling, mind boggling. What's the point in fishing? You're just fishing there really for a photo. At the end of it, you're not getting the enjoyment out of sitting on banks surrounded by nature, watching all birds and everything else that's going around the lake, watching for fish, casting to fish and catching them. Someone's doing all the work there for you. So there's no point in that. But I really do think that this year is going to be a special year. Now they've come out a little bit smaller than 16 mils. Them they look like 14s or something like that. But I'm quite happy with them anyway. They look really nice. They want to get enough before we finish up. But they are really, really nice bait. Lovely. Now I've noticed that one was a little bit really nice. Lovely. So that's the bait for this year, guys. So it's the KBS, the whale's breath, and then the crayfish and soon to be crab. That is the fish meals. Now as it goes with the fruit bait, I mentioned a few. It's baits like banoffee, tutti frutti, a cocoa cone. The cocoa cone one it's a freezer bait, but the cocoa cone cream is a freezer bait solely because it is sweet corn. Another bait wasn't what's natural. It's natural attraction. It is the natural attraction, and it is sweet corn. And the liquid that the sweet corn comes in, the sweet liquid that is in the tin, is reduced down so it gets thick, and then that is added to the. Once it's got to that thick consistency, and I've added a few things to it to even thicken it further, then that is that's added to the actual eggs once it's cooled down a bit, and then that's mixed into it. So that bit itself its natural attraction is a sweet corn that's bringing them in. Now it may turn out to be a nice bait. It may turn out to be an absolute bream magnet. But the thing is if it turns out to be a bream magnet, then it's bang on for pre-baiting, because I don't mind bream coming into the swim feeding when I'm pre-baiting and I ain't fishing. And once I'm fishing, then I'll put a bait out there that I know that they're not keen of, and I know plenty of baits that they're not keen. I do think that by fishing at one of the peach and black pepper pop-ups over the top of that cocoa cone, it could really work in my favour, because bream just do not like black pepper. I mean, last year on Treaton I had about 3 or 4 bream. Some people are having that in a night. Now I don't understand. If I were having that many bream in a night, then I'd be thinking of ways around something that them bream don't like, and they do not like black pepper in high amounts or chili. So that bait has got a hell of a lot of black pepper in it for that reason. It's for the bream. But most of my bait this year has been rolled, not for treating. It has been rolled for another venue that I'm going to be fishing in mind, with one fish that I'm after. And I've noticed that most people that are fishing it with sticky baits, krill. So it makes perfect sense to me to roll a krill bait. But in my opinion, that krill bait's for it's just that little bit more special. You know what I mean? I will be fishing a lot of it in crumb. I've got to roll a lot of crumb in the next few weeks. I've got to solely concentrate just on crumb for my own fishing and get I'd say at least 10-15 kilo of crumb, so I can take that out with me, and I can keep putting that crumb in. And once that crumb's in there, the birds soon get bored of diving on it, and it opens just. And not only that, you can tend to bait in deeper areas and bait up the slope to the more shallower spots, about 12 foot, which a lot of birds struggle with, like coots and mallards and stuff like that. Tufties will do it all the time. I've had tufties out of really deep water, so they don't really matter. And grebes as well. The grebes will go down, and they don't so much. They will have a pop at if it's a fish meal and it's a really strong smelling fish meal. These krill, a grebe will have a pop at them, especially at night, because it's a smell. It's a fish meal smell, and with there not being much light, they'll have a go at it. I've known that happen at night, but during the day they pretty much leave you alone. So all being well, that's everything. It's nothing else is really going to get done now, apart from just continue rolling what I'm rolling, and get everything in order for when my test come back clear and I can get on there and start baiting. But like I said before, if you want any of this, just drop me a PM and I'll get back to you. It's a really nice. It's the nicest crayfish powder that I've seen, without a doubt. Better than any of the companies that I've seen anyway, without a doubt on that. And the bait as well is another bait that I don't mind selling. I don't mind selling this. I don't mind selling the krill. It's just a cocoa cream and peach and black pepper that I ain't selling. I'm keeping them for myself this year, I think. But we'll see how we go anywhere with it, guys. So I'll check you later. See you later.